Hi everyone, I'm Donna from Ideas to I Did It, and today we're doing something a little different than we normally do. In our channel, we like to focus on wood projects that you can do at night or on the weekends that can make you a little extra money for your family and for all those little extras in life. And so today we're doing this lovely project. These are what I call turkey pumpkins. They have made these for over 20 years now. Started making them when I was young, and I used to sell them at craft shows and locally. And I sold hundreds, if not thousands, of these turkey pumpkins in a variety of different ways and different colorways, that sort of thing. So I thought this would be a fantastic project to show you guys. So you can see we've got two different sizes, and I'm using little styrofoam pumpkins, but they work perfectly well in a real pumpkin as well. So you can see it's very simple. It's a head and then some tail feathers, and then you can either paint them or you can stain them. And then the head just has like a bit of a decorative scarf, or in this case, we've got the lovely little turtleneck on him. I love this one. It's this is a new design I came up with this year, where it's got the natural wood tones in the feathers, and then used a leg warmer from the dollar store to make the turtleneck, and I think it's fantastic. And these have been such a great sell. You can see there's two sizes, and I really want to share this with you. We will have the pattern in our Etsy store, and I'm telling you, especially if you're someone who really loves to decorate for the season, this goes through fall right into Halloween. It's fantastic. Great for Thanksgiving. It's a great gift. I'm going to go through. I'm going to show you how it's made, how to finish it. I'm going to show you how I packaged it to sell. And I'm going to give you some tips on posting it on online forums like Marketplace or that sort of thing, with staging and all of that. So let's get into it. I hope you really stick around. This one's a fantastic one. So let's get to it. Okay, so I'm just going to walk you through a little bit about what this is. So we've got the pieces for each tail feather, and you can see pretty basic, easy to cut. You could easily do this piece on a jigsaw. It's just made with the 1-inch pine, and I just used some scrap wood that we have, but you could easily buy this as well. And then all I did was drill a small hole in the center, and I glued a galvanized nail in to that hole to be able to use to put that in your pumpkin. And again, these are styrofoam pumpkins that I've used over and over again year over year, so they already have holes, but you would just push it down and it easily stands in the pumpkin. Now for the head, it's the same idea. So you can see it's just the head shape, and then the nose is a separate piece. It's a little triangle piece, and all of the nose, the face, you could customize any of this. You customize the color of the head feathers, all of it. And then again, it just has the galvanized nail, so it can easily go into a pumpkin. And the nails work perfectly fine on a real pumpkin as well. Now, if you don't want to be doing nails, you could easily do dowels. So you could just have a blunt dowel. Then you might just have to poke a hole in your pumpkin first, but that would work. And then for the different scarf options, I've used the bandanas, which I've just gotten from the dollar store, and then I've just cut them up into pieces, you can see, and then I just finished them with a zigzag stitch so they wouldn't unravel, but you don't even have to do that if you don't mind the unfinished edge. So there's the bandana, and then I've also got, this is a leg warmer that I got from the dollar store, and I loved that it was a cable knit and that it really looked like a little sweater. So I've just kind of squished it all up, and then you can just put it through, put your head through it, and then it goes in, and then you just kind of style it up. And this one is quickly becoming my absolute favorite. I think it's hilarious that he's got a little turtleneck on. So that's basically all this is. So once we cut it out, we're gonna sand it, put the nails in, stain it, paint it, whatever you want to do, finish the face, and then seal it up. And that's really about it. And on this one, you can see I painted the tail feathers in different colors. So I've done the burgundy, the green, and a navy. I've also done this with like a mustard yellow in there, and it was fantastic as well. And then when you're using the paint, you should definitely do a sealer on it, especially if it's going to go outdoors. So that is as simple as this project is. And so we'll just get to cutting it out. Okay, so I'm going to start cutting out the small version of the turkey pumpkin. So you can see here's my pattern. So I just took our pattern and just shrunk it down to the size I wanted. And I'm going to use a slightly thinner wood. This is about a 1/2 inch. The larger one I use about 3/4 of an inch. So you can see I've got my feathers and the head. So we'll get going and cut those out. And just to clarify, the pumpkins that I was using, the styrofoam pumpkins, are from the dollar store and from Michael's, I believe, but you can get them pretty much everywhere, and they are not included in the sale. I was just selling the wood pieces when I sold these, and then people could use them in real pumpkins or get their own styrofoam pumpkins. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. We love to hear from you. And all told, I worked out how much this project would cost nowadays, and we generally use scrap wood, but I priced it out if you were buying the pine. And this project comes in anywhere between $3.50 and $4, $4.25 maybe, depending on your area. And I have consistently sold this for $15 to $20, depending. So in my book, that's well worth it. And so you can see here, I've drilled the holes. Now I'm putting in some wood glue and I'm attaching the nails, and it's as easy as that. Okay, so we're going to work on painting the face. This is the smaller version of the turkey pumpkin. So you can do it 2 ways. This is the pattern and it has the face on it. So you could put it on and transfer it using graphite paper to trace it on. You could absolutely do that, but it's really not necessary. You could just draw it on yourself and then it makes it custom to you, and everyone's a little bit different. That's what I did here. So I just drew some eyes and some rough placement of the top feather. And I've already glued the nose on this one, and I'll paint it orange on there, but I would recommend you paint it first and then put it on. Just makes it easier. So we're gonna get going on the painting. So we're gonna start just with a bit of white craft paint, and I'll start doing the eyes. So for the eyes, you could use a paintbrush, whatever you have, and that works just fine. And I find with white, you generally need to do 2 coats. So that's one way to do it. The other thing you could do, if you're not super comfortable with a paintbrush, is use the back end of a paintbrush. Dip it in the paint, the white paint, put it in the middle of the circle, and then just start pushing it out. And you'll see it's very easy to push that roll of paint out into the circle shape. And move your piece to get the better angles that you need to get into all the different areas. Okay, and I don't know if you can see, but I overdrew my line a little bit there. I'll just erase that once it's all dry. So that's as easy as I do the eye. So we'll do 2 coats on that, but I'll let that one dry. And now I'm going to work on the top feather. So the top feather, I only want to paint the top. I'm not going to paint the sides. And I'm going to use burnt sienna color, which is just like a browny burgundy color, but you can use whatever you want. Again, so we're just going to pick up some of the paint on the brush, and I'm going to start with the design down here. So I'm just going to start making those edges. And again, this is looking pretty thin. I'm probably going to have to do 2 coats. And that's totally fine. So a trick when you're only trying to paint the surface of wood and you don't want to go down the sides is do your middle pieces. And then when you get out to your edges, there's just some roughness there I'm going to fill in. When you get out to your edges, you want to actually lift up your brush. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to show this well. So you want to lift up your brush. So I'm actually lifting when I get to those edges. And that way my brush will not go down the side. And again, I'd rather do 2 light coats and have it be what I want it. So you can see that keeps the edges clean. So you just lift up when you get to the corner. So we'll just let that dry. And now for the nose, which I should have painted before. It would have just made it easier, but that's okay. And for that, I'm using like a brown orange color. My paint's getting kind of empty, but it should be okay. And I'm going to start with the underneath part. And you just need to go slow, not a ton of paint. And again, always better to do 2 light coats than 1 thick. And if you do this before you put it on, you won't have to worry about being precise at all. You can just paint the whole thing. Which is what I would normally do. I just got ahead of myself. Okay, so I'll finish this. I'll do a second coat, and then when I'm ready to do the pupils in the eyes, we'll come back. Okay, so the face is pretty much dry. I've done 2 coats. And now when you do the eyes, this is where you can get quite a bit of different expression. So you can play around with the pupils. I'll just draw a couple different eye sets here really quickly. And you can really play around with this. Draw them out, see what you like. So when I want to do a pupil, I just basically dip the back of the paintbrush in, and it gives you a nice clean dot. Now the secret is wipe it off. Dip it again, so you get fresh dips each time. So if you put them together, it looks kind of cute and innocent. If you put them kind of in the corners, I'm just gonna move that other way so it doesn't get any paint on it. Kind of looks like they're looking up. If you put them just in the middle, it makes them look like they're moving forward. I think you guys get the gist. You can play around with this to get all the different looks that you want. If you put them down, they're looking down. So you can kind of play around with the expression that you want. I'm just going to do kind of close together. So you get your piece, you go into the eyes, you just do your dot, pull it out, wipe off the end, fresh dip, put it in, and there you go. You got yourself a little expression. Okay, so if you're listing this on a place like Marketplace, you want to make sure you have lots of pictures. They're really clear. They really show the product well. I try to do them both on their own and staged with other things. And with something like the turkey pumpkin, you can see there I have the photo with the pieces laid out, and I would actually write on there, this is what you get. And I would put in my ad that the pumpkins are not included. This is intended to be used in a real pumpkin or in a styrofoam pumpkin that they buy. You want to also note that it's been finished using exterior varnish, so it can be used outside with galvanized nails. And that if you are offering different sizes, make that clear. And I always find too, you want to put the area where you live that pickup will be at, just to avoid all those emails back and forth of simply asking that question. So they're just some tips that I have. I hope they're helpful. Okay, so when I was selling at craft shows, this is how I would package them. So they were all very neatly together. It looked great. You could stand them up in baskets. And I just want to show you how I actually did it. So I would take the pieces, put them together, and then I varied between 3 and 4 tail feathers, really depending on what I had and what colors look great together. So it depended. Some people didn't want 4; they only wanted 3 for a smaller pumpkin. So it's really whatever your customer wants. So I just stacked them together, and then I used an elastic to hold them, and then I wrapped the bandana around it. And then I just finished it off with a piece of raffia to make it look neat. And I also just grabbed a little bit of cork to make stoppers for the nails so they wouldn't scratch anybody while they were in baskets at the shows, or even once somebody takes it home. It's a good way for them to be able to store it. And so I would just have all of these standing up in a basket or on a shelf, and they always drew a ton of attention and they sold like crazy. Well, thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate it. I hope you give this one a try. It is a project that I absolutely love, and I hope you do too. And it has been tried and true, a good strong seller for me for many, many years, and I hope it is for you too. All right, thanks so much. Have a great day.